Welcome to the Exploring Washington State podcast. Here's your host, Scott Cowan.
Hey, this is Scott, and today is a special bonus Exploring Washington State podcast episode. I am joined again in studio by MacKenzie Passegger, our social media maven, and otherwise my offspring. Welcome, Kenzie.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, did I have a choice? No. Sorry, folks. This is what it's really like here at the Explore Washington State office.
Behind the scenes.
Yes. This is a blooper reel disguised as a podcast episode. But today we'd like to talk about our Explore Washington State Holiday Gift Guide, the 2020 version. Kenzie, why don't you give us a little bit of an overview of how you got started on this?
Yeah, so throughout the year, I'm always kind of keeping my eyes open about or looking for different businesses making unique products made in Washington. And just kind of keeping in the back of my mind that I want to do another gift guide, you know, looking for him, her, kids, home, pet, whatever.
Yeah, and one of the things at Explore Washington State that we like to do is we really like to talk about and celebrate the local Washington State-based creatives and small businesses. So the gift guide's a way that we can help showcase that to you, our audience, and we would encourage you that on Small Business Saturday, or frankly any Saturday in the year, that if you get a chance, you should give these guys an opportunity and take a look at what they have. So, Kenzie, we're going to just jump in, and why don't we talk about, you picked Contour Creative. Why? And tell us a little bit about Contour Creative.
I mean, if you guys are following us on Instagram, you know that I'm a huge fan of Devin, who is the owner and creator behind Contour Creative. She actually hand carves all of her stamps and hand stamps every article of clothing that she makes. So there's a lot of time and dedication going into making those stamps and designs, because obviously not everything is going to translate well from stamp to clothing. What else I love about Devin is that she is extremely size inclusive, which means anybody of any size can find an article of clothing with her, which there is kind of the stigma that small clothing brands tend not to be size inclusive, and she just breaks that point down.
Very cool. How about Whiskey Jack Designs? What can you tell us about them?
Oh, Whiskey Jack. I actually came across her because one of her art prints popped up on our feed. Someone had tagged us in it, and I was checking out her designs, and I saw that she had this really cool chalk bag for for climbing. And I don't climb, but I know a lot of people that do, and having an interesting chalk bag is always kind of like, I don't know, the topic of conversation, it feels like. And so I checked more of her workout, and I actually fell in love with her trucker caps on top of that. And I was lucky enough, she sent me one, and my husband is now taking it over. But Allie's really cool. All
right. So let's talk food for a second. How about Salt Blade?
Ooh, Salt Blade is good. This is like my favorite stocking stuffer idea. So Salt Blade is a Seattle-based business. He makes artisanal salamis. And there's some really cool flavor. I mean, there's chorizo and pepperoni, kind of the more classics. But then he has uraton, for example, which is like this ancient Balinese recipe. He's also got the Seattle stick, which is made with local coffee and with local cacao. Again, just really cool, small business, handmade salami, and they taste really good.
Yeah, they're pretty darn good. I have to agree. How about Equipped Gear?
Equipped Gear. They're out in Twisp, and they make bags out of recycled materials that are basically indestructible, wouldn't you say? I mean, you have their laptop bag.
Yes, I have the laptop bag. It's absolutely wonderful. I use it whenever I travel for business, and it carries all my gear pretty nicely. And I gotta say, it's bulletproof.
And the nice thing is that they're waterproof inside and out. So even if you have like something in your bag and it spills, you're not damaging the bag, and you can just easily wipe it down. I think that would be a great bag for parents of small children, honestly, or anyone that is camping a lot, hiking a lot, and need to store dirty things in a bag without ruining about the fabric.
All right. So how about you've done something, and we've had these guys on the podcast before, Ridgeline Rings.
Ridgeline Rings, yes. So I actually found him, Graham, through another Instagram page, and I'm actually not a jewelry person at all. But I was intrigued because she was saying that these rings were made out of wood. And being the curious person I am, I had to check them out. And he really does make rings made out of wood. I have one, for example, the inside ring part is this beautiful dark wood. And on the outside are elk antlers that have been formed around a piece of turquoise. And this is just, again, small business in Spokane, doing everything by hand, really high quality.
So gift giving is always kind of a pain in the neck. Guys are we're very difficult to buy for. And so, Kenzie, your clue for this year is anything from Mac Provisions would be welcomed underneath the tree. But why don't you go ahead and talk about Casey and what he's doing up there in Port Angeles?
So I think you're the one that actually found Casey, Mac. Yeah, he is up there in Port Angeles taking old vintage baseball gloves and transforming them into wallets and keychains and other like small leather goods. And you were on the podcast with him, and he has people all over the world looking for these mitts for him, basically to repurpose. And what I think is really special about that is you can also give him like an old family mitt, like maybe from your dad or your grandfather or who knows what else, that's maybe just laying around and just kind of collecting dust as they tend to do. And he can make a wallet as a memento that you can carry along with you every single day. And then, that can also get passed down.
Yeah, and he makes these wallets, and any of the products that he makes are handmade. He's the only person doing the crafting on them. They're pieces of art. I mean, in very historic, very vintage feel. We were at a casino up in Sequim, and he has a display there at the casino. And it was like, I walked in, it was like, oh, these are so cool. And this is after I had already talked to him and all that. And they're amazing, you guys. Check those out. But
one more thing, going back to Mac Provisions. I think the beauty behind the wallet is that you don't even have to be a baseball fan to appreciate the level of artistry behind them.
I would agree. I absolutely agree with you. Okay. So let's segue into something else that I enjoy. Let's talk about 232 ceramics.
Brooke out in Spokane. I am in love with every single piece of work that she puts out. She does very beautiful, very sturdy mugs, vases. Sometimes she does like little planters and things like that. And she draws on inspiration from nature, a lot of it from the Pacific Northwest as well. I think what blows my mind about Brooke is that her shop isn't constantly open. You can't just buy from her anytime. She keeps her shop closed, and then she'll do these drops that literally will sell out within 5 to 10 minutes. And she creates such a high demand. You can find her in a shop in Spokane. And you can also like pre-order things and have her do custom work as well. But if you check her out and you think to yourself, I want a piece of this, I highly recommend sign up for her newsletter. She sends it out, lets you guys know when a next drop is coming. She also does it on Instagram. Like just keep in the loop about her.
Right. Now, her coffee mugs are amazing, but coffee mugs are no good without coffee. So I'd be remiss if I didn't steer the conversation to Roast House and what we're doing with Roast House once again out in Spokane.
Yeah, Roast House. Oh, again, this was one of your finds, I think, actually. And we went out together to visit Roast House, and I just wanted to taste, they had something on top that it was really, really calling my name. But anyway, we were there, and you were joking with Aaron about we want to do our own Explore Washington State coffee, and it kind of just took off from there. I really appreciate that all of their stuff is organic and it's fair, because as we know, the coffee world can be pretty dark. And they're really making sure that their beans are being fairly grown and picked and everything. And I love their sister company, First Ave in Spokane. If you're not a big coffee person, but you have a lot of questions and you want to taste different things and figure out what you like, what you don't like, different roasting levels, etc., anything, Highly recommend visiting them in Spokane when things open back up again, because they can literally answer any question you have, and you can taste things and you can figure out what coffee is for you.
I agree. And it was kind of just tongue in cheek that I suggested we wanted to do our own coffee, and they've been absolute wonderful partners to work with. And, please, if you like coffee, give our coffee a try.
It's damn good.
There you go. That's their tagline. How about Tuesday Shop?
Tuesday Shop. So this is another Seattle business, and it's a one-woman show, which I think is always, as a woman myself, very impressive, that anyone can run a business completely alone. But she hand paints high-low kimonos, which are kind of like, I don't know, like throw-on-y things that you can wear during the day, any time of the year. They're one size fits all, and the sizing is really quite generous on them. So again, I think this is something that, if you're shopping for a woman in your life, this will fit her. She draws on Japanese culture and kimonos for inspiration. And they're just, I don't know, they're just beautiful pieces of art. She has solid colored ones. She has extremely bright, vibrant ones. She's got florals. I mean, just everything. And it's the kind of thing that you can wear over any outfit and look classy. Classy but casual.
Okay. Speaking of classy but casual, what about Stehekin?
Yeah. Okay. I love those shoes. We actually put them on our list last year as well. And they sent over their women's Cascades. I got a pair and my husband got a pair, and they kind of look like Vans, they're slip-ons, that design was, but the inside keeps your foot really warm. So it really is like you're wearing a slipper for a shoe. And I'm amazed because, where we live, we get a lot of snow, we get a lot of rain, the ground is dirty, and we've worn them and they hold up. And then this year I got to try out their Edens, which are their moccasins, and they're very comfortable, and they're also very environmentally focused.
The ground is dirty in Austria. That's interesting.
Well, in the wintertime when it's all like mushy and just, All
right. So we've talked about food. We've talked about clothing, maybe need some art for your walls, and Cascadia Modern.
So this is a shameless plug for our Explore Washington State bucket list scratch off poster. I connected with Emily, who's the owner of Cascadia Modern, a while ago, and just to kind of explore the idea of doing a poster with her. And we kind of were throwing ideas back and forth, and we finally decided on doing the bucket list one. And before starting this project, I knew it would be, work, right? There's a lot to get done, a lot of steps to take, a lot of things to focus on. But I really underestimated what we were taking on, and so many days and weeks were spent on this project, and I loved absolutely every second of it, creating the list of places and activities and things to go and do, and then finding corresponding pictures and reaching out to photographers and Emily sending the designs for the poster that she had in mind. And so seeing it come to fruition and seeing people that have ordered it and start scratching things off or hanging them on their walls, like, it is such a good starting place for anyone that lives in Washington of places to go and do and see. Because no matter how long you've lived here and how much you've adventured here, I am willing to bet you have not done everything that's on this list, because it is extremely inclusive.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool poster. How about Cecilia Stitch? Tell us a little bit about them.
So she is also up in Seattle. I think she's about to take maternity leave for a bit. So she just had a baby. And she makes these really beautiful stockings. And because, I don't know, in our family, we've always just had like the red and white ones, the typical Santa Claus type stockings. And she just takes it up another level with a Pendleton wool, and they become small centerpieces in your home over the holiday season. And they're also hand stitched, handmade. Again, she she's extremely passionate about what she does. And she is also wanting to pass down everything that she's learned with her business to her children one day.
Oh, that's cool. From the ground up, more socks.
Socks. These are also really great stocking stuffers, just to say. So from the ground up, this is a guy, Rami, excuse me. And he designed these socks, which are made for hiking. They're really lightweight. They're made from merino wool. He has other types of socks as well. But they're made from merino wool. And they're built to support your foot, but be fashionable, keep your feet dry, not getting sweaty, not getting blisters, all of that. And he has like designs on them like Mount Rainier, the Olympic National Forest, I think, Mount Baker. I mean, just tons of different places across the state.
Okay. How about Wish You Were Northwest?
I can't hear.
How about Wish You Were Northwest?
I love them. So these two women, they're sisters. They kind of remind me of like the cool girls in high school that you wanted to be, or like in college even. Like you just thought they are so cool. And they make clothes. They make Pacific Northwest inspired clothing. They have stuff for men, women. They have like mugs and stickers, beanies. They've got all kinds of stuff on their website, and they're huge. I mean, they've built this community that's just really impressive to see grow. And they're also really passionate about what they do. And hat off to them, because working with family is not always easy.
Tell me about it. All right. And for the last one for 2020, Kula Cloth.
Kula Cloth. So we also got to do a collaboration with them this year, which was really exciting. So for those of you who don't know, Kula Cloth is a technical pea cloth, and one side has a design on it, and on the flip side of it is where you use to, take care of your business. It's antimicrobial, and I can never say that right, so please excuse me. But you can clip it together so that like you can hang it on your backpack when you're out camping or hiking or whatever. And it basically just makes your hike a little bit more zero waste, because, you're not having to pack in toilet paper and pack it back out with you. And if you're just leaving the toilet paper in the forest, do better. And they've got just a ton of different designs. They've also started doing like these online courses with a variety of teachers covering topics like literally any life skill that you could need or possibly want. They've probably got a class for you. And huge congratulations to them, because they're now selling an REI.
All right. So that has been a recap of our Explore Washington State Holiday Gift Guide 2020 artists and creatives. Really would encourage you guys to all check them out. There's probably something on this list for everyone on your holiday gift giving, all of that. And just thank you very much for supporting Explore Washington State in 2020. And we look forward to being here in 2021 and sharing more about the state and more about small businesses and things to do, hikes, places to go. We got a lot of cool stuff lined up. And thanks. Kenzie, I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, thank you to everyone that's read the gift guide, and every business that, has been happy to be a part of it. I did just want to make one correction. Brooke does not have a newsletter, but when you go to her Etsy page, you can sign up for the email that you'll get when her shop is back in stock. Thank you, guys.
Join us next time for another episode of the Exploring Washington State podcast.